your attention, please. Woo! Yo, you ready for this? Coming at you from Wicked Big Studios in Peabody, Massachusetts.
Ladies and gentlemen,
sit back, buckle up, because you're in the happy hour with your boy, KINGHAP.
What is up, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the happy hour, guys. This is what we got here going for you is a very special breaking news episode. We're going to go ahead and let you know we're brought to you today by Overlay DFS. Overlay DFS is the new pinnacle in daily fantasy sports, ladies and gentlemen. You can get on, if you're listening to this on Friday tonight, free of charge. You can compete against me. Every single person that can finish ahead of me is getting paid. There's a nice little prize for first place, and everyone that beats me gets paid. Guys, get over to Overlay DFS and enjoy it. We're also brought to you by Blenders Eyewear. Blenders Eyewear is the official eyewear provider of the Happy Hour Social Club. Guys, make sure when you get over there, let them know that you're at the Happy Hour. Promo code KINGHAP saves you 15%. And on top of it all, you'll get yourself looking real nice for the summertime. Yeah, you know you're going to want to wear those and show off for the ladies of the Happy Hour. Guys, I'm sitting here in the Wicked Big Studios in West Peabody, Massachusetts, and I'm scratching my head. And I got some questions. And, you know, what I did is I'm reading the internet here, and there's all kinds of things being written. And I said to myself, you know, I was very excited. And my next phone call with this gentleman, with both of these gentlemen, I planned on being a celebratory, phone call. Very excited, wishing him a great retirement. But instead, this is a phone call, very, very different proportions. I want to go ahead real quick and welcome, on the phone joining me right now, I have Joshua Fabia and the Nightmare, Diego Sanchez. Guys, welcome back to the Happy Hour. Appreciate you being here.
What's up, gang? What up, King? It's good to be back and say our side of the story.
Absolutely. Everybody loved the last episode, you guys. I got so many emails. Everybody telling me, we can't wait to tune in. They actually said, they wanted us to have a little party down in Ironclad Martial Arts with the big screen up and watch it there and everybody take it in. Obviously, social distancing up here in Massachusetts, but everybody wanted to get together, watch the retirement fight for Diego, and seeing you take on Cowboy Cerrone, which was, had action-packed entertainment written all over it. However, I don't know if any of the listeners don't know this. This fight will now not be taking place. Josh, do me a favor. We got Diego here, and I know that he's not pleased at all about this fight not taking place. But Josh, answer me this. Were you the one that actually found out first about this, or was it Diego that heard that this fight was being pulled from the card?
Well, the confirmation, I found out about it, but I'd say 6 weeks ago, I think I told Diego, I'm pretty sure this fight, they're not going to allow it to happen. I don't see any promotion. I don't see any advertising. They're not talking about it. How come I'm the only one creating posters and promoting this fight?
Yeah, and a fight of this magnitude, you would have thought, Diego Sanchez retirement fight, the winner of the inaugural Ultimate Fighter competition, you would have thought that this would have had some serious promotion behind it, especially going against somebody with a name like Donald Cerrone.
Thank you for that, Hap. Yeah, it's both our names. Me and Donald both have put in so much blood, sweat, and tears with this company. And in my final fight, which was my retirement fight with another legend in Cowboy, they didn't even put me or Cowboy even on the website. No post on the social media. These two legends are going to throw down. Nothing. Absolutely nothing, King. Is the weirdest thing ever. It's never happened before. And they would even put us on, it blows to this day, it blows my mind. And so Joshua and our lawyer they both told me, it was about a month and a half before the fight. They're like, I don't think this fight's going to happen. And they don't want it to happen. And so turns out, in the end, the cards we played were strong enough cards, I guess. The UFC kind of just folded and sent back the response that they were going to pay me in full and release me. So, of course, the easiest victory of my career, getting paid full win money just to, take a week off, honestly.
I'd say that's pretty good coaching, maybe decent management, right?
I mean, think about it. The unfortunate incident that just took place with Chris Weidman, the former champ. I mean, Uriah Hall won the fight without throwing a punch. I mean, technically, now there's been 2 fights in the history of the UFC that were technically won without throwing a punch, right? I mean, right, Diego? I mean, without you taking one knee, one elbow, going against the guy who you know you would have to take some damage from.
I didn't have to make weight, King. Hey, Chris Weidman still has to cut that weight and diet and travel. I got to sit home and eat some burritos and have a dessert and enjoy my life as I get to take the next step into life outside the UFC. And with the bullshit going on, and you got Dana White and Hunter Campbell and Sean Shelby pulling strings from behind the curtain. You never know what's what anymore. And just me having my coach, who happens to be an awareness master, he brought some awareness, brought some light to things. And so, they've been trying to shut him up for 2 years. They ran a serious smear campaign, and now at the end, it came down to the end of the wire, and Dana White, after paying me, he decided still to put the blame on Joshua and say how he has such a great relationship with me and that he loves me. But if that was true, and he did have a great relationship with me, he would have called me. He would have texted me. If he loved me, maybe he would have took a meeting with me, as I was trying to get a meeting with him for the last 2 years.
Well, and the funny thing is of him quoting that Diego's released because of that video and his posting, that was put out after he was already released.
I noticed that.
Everybody forgets that, I'm dealing with lawyers, messages, and everything else, and running social media. So it's just interesting, that little confusion, everybody thinking he got released because of that. Interesting enough, I've been sitting on it for 7 months. You don't think I could have waited 5 more fucking minutes?
Yeah.
Come on, guys. Come on.
And here's a question for you too. I asked this because I read some of the headlines online. One of them actually has been taken down, but one of the ones that I read said that Diego couldn't pass his medicals. Diego, I mean, is this accurate, or is this totally fabricated? Because truthfully, I mean, I see you look in tremendous physical condition. You look like you're ready to go 5 rounds easy. Forget about 3. You tell me, were you unable to pass these medicals, or were the medicals passed?
Absolutely 100% passed with flying colors, Big King.
Yep.
I passed them all. It was nothing. They sent me extra. They sent me extra MRIs, extra MRAs. They were hoping they could find something to pull the fight.
Well, let's talk about the levels of trying to pull a fight. Okay. Yep. So we have, we're in Vegas. We already had scheduled this match with Jake Shields. And while we were going to be there, I had scheduled a meeting with Sean Shelby to talk and see this supposed list of available opponents for Diego.
Yep.
But the UFC approved as a viable match or okay fight to have, right? Now we go into this meeting, and first of all, I bring Stephan Bonner and my assistant. Neither one of them are allowed into the office.
That's weird.
Yeah, it is weird considering 2 tough winners and just a female there to assist and take notes. Be a witness? What's the problem?
I don't understand that. And, like you said, it isn't like Stephan Bonner's a stranger off the street. This man helped build the promotion. Although, like I said, he was one of the that Ultimate Fighter 1 championship fights. The viewership on that fight, those fights.
Griffin Bonner. You're talking about the Griffin Bonner fight.
Yep, I'm talking about Griffin Bonner, and also I'm talking about yourself and Kenny Florian, right? I mean,
Exactly.
these fights, that fight night was put the UFC on the map. I mean, this went from a money-losing to a money-earning, venture in one night. So this is like Stephan Bonner is a stranger to these people, and when he walks in there as part of Diego's coaching team per se, and one of his training partners, it isn't like this man, oh, no, you wait out there. Something right away, something's fishy in my book. Diego, did you think that was fishy?
Yeah, that live moment with Stephan Bonner and Forrest Griffin.
Yep.
Yeah, that live moment helped create the UFC. It was that live moment before the internet, where people were still watching TV, that the fan base started to build for the UFC. And to be a pioneer like that and not even be able to come in and attend the meeting when you're a piece of my team. Stephan is a piece of my team.
Yeah.
So what does it matter? What does it matter?
And the big deal, King, was, they don't want to talk to me. Well, cool. Talk to Stephan too. Start to see that the people that are around me that have no problems with me, they know what's going on, and you don't want to let them in the room. So we're in the meeting. Sean hands me a piece of paper. What did I do, Diego?
Joshua folded that piece of paper up, put it in his pocket, didn't even look at it.
Because the list doesn't matter, bro.
Yep.
The list, because I already set the list, 1. 2, let's talk about the real thing. Let's just go ahead and put that list aside, and let's talk about a year ago, I was in this office with you, Sean, and I simply asked you, what job offer do you have for Diego Sanchez as he's coming to the end of his career? And Forrest got a job. Stephan got a job. All these people getting jobs. Where is Diego's job?
I agree. I mean, a lot of these people, as they come to the end of their careers, get full-time employment through the UFC with benefits, you know what I mean, down the line. And truthfully, with the Performance Center there, you'd have to think, especially with, and take no offense to this, Diego, but the unorthodox training style that you have and all your fitness, but with you and Josh, the way that you guys run your fitness along with your unorthodox style, I just feel like somebody at the Performance Center, you guys would be a perfect fit in there. You guys blend everything together with meditation, stretching down the line. The School of Self-Awareness is actually something that I feel like other people that train at the UFC could benefit from. Diego, don't you think that maybe this is something they could have tried to incorporate into other people's training? Or if not, just as an ambassador and a spokesperson, you'd think that they'd have something for you, no?
Yeah. I definitely have a lot of wisdom that I've attained in this long career, and School of Self-Awareness and the breathing, the moving, the healing are all facets of mixed martial arts that are missing and deeply needed. And I could have really helped as a mentor to the next generation in hey, listen up, kids.
Yeah.
Let's not do this. Let's not do this. Let's do this. If you do this, you're gonna fuck yourself. You do this. I could have really mentored these kids in a lot of directions and warned them about a lot of the distractions and the traps that come with being this identity, the UFC fighter.
And it's interesting you bring up the PI, the UFC Performance Institute, this building that has lots and lots of toys. And, man, I don't know. I'd say we probably trained there at least 30, maybe 50 hours.
Right?
So in those 30 to 50 hours that I've been recorded by the UFC nonstop, including the knife so-called incident that they never show you the beginning. They never show you the full context, and they have a copy. Come on. Let's just be real, man. How come the UFC has never said anything to me or to my face at the UFC PI about my so-called weird and unorthodox training.
Yeah.
Not one time.
Truthfully, it's in my opinion, it's you're doing something different than other people, and it's a benefit. I mean, truthfully, Diego last year he was in 2020 was 1-1. Now, my another question that I have for you, right? And I'll ask you this, Josh, because Diego probably I'm gonna imagine Diego kind of probably will poo-poo this question and think there's nothing really substantial about it here. But he had 2 fights 7 months apart in 2020. He fought February 15th. A victory, and September 27th, which was a decision loss. Now, in 2020, he had 2 fights 7 months apart. He was one of the most tested athletes in the UFC from USADA as well. I mean, does it not seem like they got a bit of an axe to grind here?
So this goes back to what I'm saying about the lean. So one part of it is, even just with this fight, not to mention all the other fights, the first thing that they can get you with is whereabouts failures. And this is, they just went to your house or went to the address that you have listed and you're not there. You're at the grocery store, you're at a doctor's appointment, you're somewhere else within the life of a person, and now they show up and they may call. They may just send an email, they may not even call you. They just showed up and you're not there. And now they put a negative on your USADA. And if you get 3 of these whereabouts failures, they'll suspend you. They've been trying nonstop to get that going on. I've consistently been fighting it from 2 whereabouts failures to getting them erased. And that goes within just before this fight even. So before this fight, I had everything cleared up and zeroed out with USADA. He had 0 whereabouts failures. We're 100% in the clear. Everything's good. And the day before, no, I take this back. Maybe 2 weeks before we left to go train at ATT, while we're at the gym, they came to the house. Oh. Now they know that they can call me and they can call Diego and we will adjust everything and within that hour show back up and then they can administer the test and everything's cool. But it's within that hour, 45 minutes. It's a window.
Yep.
That way you can't be like weird. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And, but they didn't call or on top of this, Diego's phone was broke. Like the screen was cracked and he wasn't aware of how bad the damage was, how much it was really working, right?
Yep.
And they're sending maybe messages, maybe not. I don't know. But we don't have no log of it, okay? And they didn't message me, which my phone was fine. My email is fine, okay? They didn't message me. So now, a week and a half goes by, 2 weeks, and it's the Friday before we leave, and we got filming with Eden Rose from getting subcontracted out by the UFC to come film Diego's, some footage of him training and say goodbye interviews and just all of this content that they wanted that was based off of my career. They're like, one last, get his words on this one, get his words on that one, asking me about my career and just interesting questions, going over things. And but this was an all-day affair. On top of, I asked them, can we just do this in Florida at ATT? And the guy's like, it's better in Albuquerque. So now it's forced on the day before we leave. Okay?
Yep.
So they know where we're at. They know what we're doing. Oh, while we're doing that, USADA shows up again. Now, neither one of these times do they actually contact me, but yet I got to wait 2 weeks while I'm in Florida to catch an email to say, hey, you got all these whereabout failures, and now you got these problems, and now one more, and the fight's off, right?
Yep. This is the truth.
This is the pressure
they put on me on my last retirement fight. Wow. They were trying to.
Yeah, and this has been going on nonstop the past 2 years, just like the fact that when they reported him being sanctioned, they reported it out in the news as suspended. Yep. And that's including your so revered news source at ESPN.
Yep, and you know what? ESPN, you know that they're, basically they're in bed. UFC and ESPN are in bed together, and anything that's reported on there that it's going to be pro ESP, is going to be pro UFC regardless.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So this is part of it, man. So they're leaning on us with the USADA. Then they're putting all these extra requirements. Then when in our travel, the last thing that they get to know is we have to report to USADA where we're staying. And we're staying at Spencer Fisher's, and all of a sudden, that's when the problems really start. That's when me asking about and for the medicals really became a problem.
We never ever even said the word neurological. We never ever said brain health. We never said anything. We just requested full body scans.
So, and you want to know what the medical departments and all these other departments are upset about? Here's the truth, Ben.
Yep.
Every single time I talk to an individual department of this multi-billion-dollar corporation, none of them know what the fuck is going on with the other. And they have no clue about the whole. So they're all just head down in their little world of shit. And they think they know what's going on. But when I ask them simple questions that they don't have answers for, that's why they get all scared and flustered, and that's the problem. That's all it really is. It's like, hey, I'm thinking you guys work for the devil, don't you know?
Yeah, and you're sitting here looking out for your athlete, and you're basically doing your part. I mean, truthfully, that's what you're hired to do. You're looking out for your athlete. You're asking for medical scans. You're asking to get the information back so you can go ahead and, number one, if there was any kind of there's any. Go ahead, sir.
Exactly. Joshua's looking out for me, man, because he knows that I ain't never going to get those damn medicals back. And there's no way I'm ever going to get them back.
And why would I think that you're not going to have communication with these people? Maybe because Dana won't have a meeting with them or talk to them. Maybe because we spent time with Spencer Fisher, and when he explained his story and how Dana won't reply to him, yeah, man, we need this information before we exit. And I had to hold all this to keep him safe, even though they're trying to put him in danger, and I'm the one training him to keep him safe enough in that moment. And we're both juggling this whole situation pre and after these events that are entertainment where people are prospering on the demise of another human being. I mean, this is real.
Wow. And for them to go, now here's the other thing. Now, you made your, and I throw this out there, and now you made your debut on UFC TV long before this, when you filming the show, but April 9th was your first UFC fight. I mean, legitimately, a couple of weeks ago, your anniversary just passed. I mean, and you think that they would have maybe, congratulations to Diego Sanchez, longest tenured athlete on the roster, blah, 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 retirement fight coming up. I mean, there was just so much stuff. I felt like, number one, if this fight was ever really going to take place, they dropped the ball. He should have been featured on the Fight Pass. He should have been featured all over, interviews, people basically begging him to go on ESPN with the, like I said, this is a feel-good story. And they can say, oh, maybe he has, CTE. Anybody listening to this episode knows that Diego speaks absolutely fine. And everybody knows that, number one, fighters do have issues down the line. Right now, I mean, there are plenty of fighters that I interview, and there's plenty of people that I talk to, and I take the blows myself in training. And I train with a lot of martial artists. The bottom line is, everybody takes shots, and I mean, for you to come out there and you speak like this, they should have been featuring you. You were very well spoken. You're a good interview, and on top of that, this is a feel good story. I mean, you announced your retirement. You have one last fight, legend versus legend, and you have basically the telltale career. From Ultimate Fighter 1 till now, this should have been celebrated as opposed to, I mean, basically, you look here. I mean, if you just put it in a Google of Diego's name, there's not even a nice thing written about him under the headlines right now. I mean, it's all kind of a smear campaign, and I'm sure, Diego, that must honestly break your heart after putting all these years in there and a lot of pain, a lot of blood, sweat, tears, period, no?
I've already got a callus, in that little spot where, the pain comes in. I'm shielded up right now, and my feelings don't hurt for the UFC. I'm just happy to be gone and done with the UFC. Now I can speak my truth to the next generation of people that are sold on the dream that I was sold on. Yeah. Now you have kids training MMA, and then they're 10 years old, and they're dreaming to be the Conor McGregor.
Yep.
Maybe they're dreaming to be a Diego Sanchez. I don't know, but looking back on 16 years being a huge achievement in a professional sport, and them not even highlighting that I went in there and won the Ultimate Fighter before that great fight with Bonner and Griffin. I won the Ultimate Fighter first. That was the first one, and I dominated Kenny Florian and got him out of there in the first round. And the fight was so short. They could have posted the whole fight on the website, on the social media. They posted the Stephan and Griffin fight. And now you got a fighter that's still in there, who's already a Hall of Fame fighter, who's given countless fight of the years and fight of the night, and has truly sacrificed his face for the entertainment of the fans and the company. And they don't give nothing in the end, man. Nothing. It's like they wanted me to be sacrificed and just destroyed by another fighter, to where I don't even want to be in there anymore, and I quit. They were trying to get me to quit, but it didn't go down like that. No. They didn't get what they, and now I'm out in the freelance. And, I'm just taking it day by day, moment for moment right now. We're just dealing with the battle that we're in right now against the liars. And, we're here to speak the truth. We don't got nothing to lose. We're not gaining or benefiting billions off of speaking our truth. But we do need to, because the public needs to hear the truth that Joshua has just been a great friend, and he's portrayed as the devil, robbing me, conning me, has me under mind powers. I've heard everything of this, to where I've even had to disown some of my own family, because the smear campaign was so good that they were compelled that they believed it. And that's the sheep world that we live in now. You put it on the internet, and you put enough money behind it, and the people will believe it.
Oh yeah, and too, with the UFC, Diego, it's like if you don't go ahead and basically eat what they're spoon feeding you and go ahead and regurgitate it out to the masses, you've seen it with Ariel Helwani, one of the leading martial arts basically reporters, TV personalities, etc. This man was banned because he had the scoop that Brock Lesnar was making a comeback. He had his credentials completely wiped out because he said it. If the UFC wants you to say something and you don't say it, you end up getting basically what Joshua's dealing with right now. And before I ask Josh, let me ask you, Diego. I just from a regular Google search right now as we speak, UFC releases Diego Sanchez, Dana White blasts his bat nuts coach. It says here that released amid bizarre circumstances due to his coach. Dana White blasts Joshua Fabia following Diego Sanchez's release. The guy's batshit crazy. I mean, it's hearing that yourself, Diego, knowing that Joshua's a great guy, your friend, and somebody who's looking out for you. When the man asks for medicals for you as your trainer, I mean, it's kind of what a trainer does. But, I mean, when they make a big deal about that, and then you see this stuff written about him on the internet, how does that make you feel as, number one, the longest tenured athlete? Number two, I mean, basically, he is there with you through thick and thin and every aspect of your training, and somebody who goes out of their way frequently for you. You tell me, how do you feel seeing this stuff written?
It just saddens my heart. It really does sadden me, because more than anything, what it makes me sad is I know Josh, and I know what kind of person he is, and I know that he's got thick skin and he can handle it. and he can interpret it in his own way to understand the situation and what's happening. But I feel sorry and I'm sad for fans that are just believing the bullshit.
Yeah,
it breaks my heart that I have thousands of fans right now that are praying for me and sending me messages about how they feel that Joshua's the problem and that they wish I would use that trainer and down to people insinuating that we're gay lovers. And it doesn't stop. It doesn't stop. And you know, it's crazy because all these people say they care about me so much and that they love me. I'm not the problem. It's just all Josh. Well, I'm a free spirit and I'm a free man and I've made my decision. And obviously I have somebody with me that has my back, and the people, they aren't smart enough to see that because they're just following the agenda, the narrative. And that's on them, and they're really the silly dummies if you ask me, because they're following their bullshit.
And let's go ahead and clarify this one right now, because I think it's interesting. Everybody thinks I'm about money. Hey, Diego, I'm your manager. Do we have a contract?
No, never have.
See, and you know,
we've never had a contract. Me and Josh, we're solid. We do each other right. We do what's right. We do what's fair, and take care of each other. We don't fuck each other over like everybody else does.
Okay, let me ask you another question, Diego. Do I need money?
Nope.
Okay, then. So, in that regard, let's just chill out on all that.
Yeah, agreed.
Because that's ridiculous. Because I do more work for free than probably anybody you've ever met. And that's around the world.
Yep.
And I can only, because I got my shit.
Here's another thing I got for you. A question for you, Josh. Actually, I got two questions for you real quick, big man. Here's the thing, right? So you say that in this, everybody, I mean, every story is the same about Dana White. Every story is the man play. I mean, look at right now and look at John Jones. John Jones, who's done so much for the sport. I understand the man's had his bumps in the road, but the man is absolutely, potentially the GOAT. Arguably, you can say this man's the GOAT, that man's the GOAT. There's no such thing as a GOAT. And, you know, the truth is there's a million different weight classes, and I would say as a light heavyweight, the man's the GOAT. But let me ask you this now. You see how this man's being treated because he's looking to, you know, get paid, and they refuse to go from their 20% goes to the fighters, and that's it. So for John Jones, they say that they will not budge on, you know, because they're going to have to pay Ngannou as the champion, and they have to pay John Jones. Now, you see how Dana White is. It's almost like, hey, we're going to do this my way or F you. Now, when you go in there and you're speaking up for Diego. So, you know, basically, Diego can go ahead and train and worry about what the athlete's supposed to worry about, as you worry about the things that the manager's supposed to worry about. And you're asking about medicals, things like this, and they're basically like, you know, get the hell out of here. I mean, don't you feel like this is always the same thing? I mean, John Fitch would tell you down the line. I mean, everybody who's left and gone to other organizations has all said the same thing. And basically, the people who stay and get spoon-fed what they need to do and told everything, they all have their mouths shut till they leave. But wouldn't you say that this just seems par for the course when it comes to this stuff, Josh?
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm going to go hard with it and be as honest as I can be, man.
Love it.
That I'm going to go back in time with when I was young and the masculine energy that was in the world had to be known by proving it, had to be known by doing it. And the world or the people had to see it. Okay. And, you know, this is almost like the Jenner thing.
Yep.
Everybody knew of his accomplishments before, and we know who he is today. The fame and the celebrity, that's how it was acquired. You know, you had to accomplish something in front of many, 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 many eyes. And I watched the world starve for some of that energy and the way the fame was going when the television was allowing you to see all that, and everybody trying to be on some form of the television, right?
Mm-hmm.
And when the internet hit, some things changed. And this is some real revenge of the nerds, okay?
Yeah.
And if we look at Dana White and Joe Rogan before the internet, they looked like regular people, right?
Yeah.
And you look at them today, after the UFC and their ability to create themselves, they're now like HGH insecure monsters that had to do whatever they had to do to feel comfortable sitting next to real men and women.
It's fair. I mean, it always seems like there's an argument with Dana White and anybody who is approaching star status that may overshadow his. I mean, prove me wrong, but I mean, him and Tito Ortiz had back in the day. And from there, I mean, like I said, John Jones and everybody down the line that ever has overshadowed the name Dana White. I mean, he's trying to take, what he doesn't realize, he's trying to take a book out of Vince McMahon's playbook, but he doesn't realize that Vince McMahon is selling entertainment, not legitimate athletics. I mean, Vince knows he had to take a backseat to Hulk Hogan, The Rock, Stone Cold, down the line. Now it's like when these people come in and you have these celebrities or even these personalities that outshine yours, that doesn't mean you need to attack them and like you say, go on, he has every media outlet he wants to go ahead and basically tell everybody this guy sucks, that guy sucks, etc. I mean, don't you feel that way?
Yeah, absolutely. And it started with Joe Rogan starting to use that platform 2 years ago. And then beyond that, the insecurity is really coming from, I'm not allowed to get free advertising, man. And everybody else is paying buku bucks. How much you think Monster's paying?
Oh.
How much is Howard paying? How much is everybody paying? And Diego's doing some things that are noticeable, and he's saying things, and they're just making sure that you're not hearing it in a positive light or allowing the results to be seen. Yeah. Now, the results are here. If the guy takes an illegal blow and he's aware enough to say the right thing when they won't allow him to have counsel from his coach, and they're illegally asking him because they can only ask to be the only one that can answer the question if a fighter can continue after a legal blow is the referee or the commission. Now, these are the UFC's rules. I didn't write this shit.
Yeah.
So now you're going to stick a camera in Diego's face and try to slander his legacy, just like the suspension, and he's dirty. He's taking this. You see now what I'm getting at here. And this has been going on nonstop. And every time I put out the fire, oh, here comes an article and an assault on me. Oh, but again, you're not looking at any of the real footage of me. Everything's out of context. And let's go to this Matt Serra thing. Let's go to this Matt Serra thing. I go to speak to your face because I'm not making money off of YouTube content. Yep. And part of the narrative spin, and I'm not employed by the company. All right. I'm not getting free fucking content set up by the UFC, making it mandatory to have an interview with Diego. And that's why I'm saying you're going a lot out of your way since the PEAR fight to not say my name. And I was there watching the whole interview. Like I watched you do it. So it's beyond that. It's the fact that there's too much extra going on. And when I go to talk to you like a man and speak to you, I think it's funny that your 6 foot black friend is going to sit there and hold the camera, but I was so threatening and I was so disrespectful. He didn't stand up. Oh, I was creating such a scene. The security at the UFC didn't come get me. Come on, man. Listen to the dumb shit. Just look around for real facts. Yeah. And the real facts are you had to chop up a video because you got punked out. And what really comes up is the last time Dana spoke to Diego, was to kiss his ass and then tell him how much Matt Serra loves him before they go and put that video out the next day after the fight.
Yeah, I'll tell that story. After the fight with Matthews, I was getting stitched up in the back. They wouldn't even give me the time to finish getting stitched up. They wanted me to go see Dana. And it was so important. It was like, right now. The guy's like, being pushy about it. The goon that comes to get me, he's like, he's been pushy about it. And I'm getting stitches. And so I'm laying there getting the stitches. I'm like, oh, shit. Dana's going to try to give me the talk to retire me right now. I was like, oh man, I'm not ready for that. Like I got to word this right. I gotta be strategic with the words that I put in my mouth.
Yeah.
And I walked up to him and I was prepared to speak on anything and defend my case. And it had nothing to do with that. He didn't mention retirement.
Good.
All he wanted to do was tell me that, that the company loves me, that I'm a great human being, and that Matt Serra loves me, and Matt, he really cares. And basically, please don't come back at Matt Serra. He cares about you, and that was the extent of the conversation. It didn't go much further than that. I was happy just to not have the retirement talk.
Yep.
So I walked away with a smile, just like, why was he telling me about Matt Serra so much?
So then, when we go to get on the charter plane to leave, when I go to get in, well, guess who's there? There's Matt.
Yep.
And he's talking to Stefan. And I'm about to go deal with him again. Like, you ain't going nowhere. I'll deal with you right now. And as I go walk, I can see him and Stefan talking. And Stefan, I could tell, like, he had something going. He was conveying himself. So I didn't want to interrupt it. So I walk by. I look him dead in his fucking eyes. And he don't look or say shit. He looks away and looks at Stefan. I walk right past him. So if you're so fucking tough and you're so Billy and you deal with everybody, how come you didn't say nothing then, tough nuts?
And he had nothing nice to say about you, obviously, afterwards, which it's
on a platform.
Yeah. Like you said, the platform that's set up by the UFC, and all the interviews. They have to. Anybody who doesn't know, the UFC has their own podcast, and fighters are pretty much obligated to give the interviews to Matt Serra. Correct? I mean, you guys know from the inside know that as well. Correct?
Yeah. Correct.
And
the UFC sets it up for me, this is how they snuck it in. They set it up on my weekly media. It was a media. It was
scheduled within your media week of.
Yeah, it was a media obligation type of deal. And power to them. They have that ability. They go right ahead and do it. But at the same time, don't use it as a platform to go ahead and blast people's teams, guys. I'm not going to lie. I'm really disappointed, being a huge fan. And, I deal with a lot of people from the UFC. But my thing is knowing that you're a legend, knowing that, like you said, Josh was sitting here asking, like I said, he asked some medicals and they give him a hard time as your manager, which is his job. So the man's trying to do his job. They're standing in his way. They come back. They say, you passed the medicals. They ask for a letter, and then they tell you that the fight's off. This is basically the timeline. What were the reasons they gave you, right, Diego? Why? They had to have given you some kind of ironclad reason. No, like, this is why we're going to pull the fight off. Did they?
Absolutely no reason. The only reason was my last loss to Jake Matthews. And no details about why, but due to my last loss.
So that's the Fight Island fight that you took on short notice, and you went down there and you fought Jake Matthews. I mean, hey, and you know, you lost the fight to Jake Matthews. No harm in this. I mean, the man's he's big for the weight class. On top of it all, I mean, he's 17-5 in his career. I mean, he did lose to, he lost to Sean Brady in his last fight. I ate that up because being a Daniel Gracie guy. But, I didn't like the fact that, they put this guy in there. He's, younger guy, short notice, you lose the fight, and then they go ahead and they throw that at you. No, this is, we're not giving it to you because you lost your last fight. I mean, they had no specifics.
They could finish. So, like, it wasn't like some of these guys getting KO'd so bad,
So then, what's more important? Let's just look at it from a business standpoint. In the way I would look at it, are we looking at 15 minutes of entertainment, or do we just want people to get hurt?
Yeah.
And so it clearly seems the favor is in it's good business when people get hurt. And these are these new fans that are bloodthirsty, man. And they're now betting to try to make money off of people. Now, I want to know, is DraftKings giving money to these fighters? Are they putting out a pension? Are they protecting the fighters? Are they giving them part of the winnings? Like, what the hell's going on here?
Yep.
And especially when the Holloway fight was so obviously, misjudged and rigged that they had to take back the bet. I mean, what does this mean? Like, why is everybody even looking at this and continuing to participate in this ridiculous WWE level entertainment, like you said? And this is the conversion of it. And if it is entertainment, King, tell the fucking athletes so they don't hurt themselves. And then on top of it, how about you protect the athletes from themselves? And who's overseeing you? Who's overseeing the UFC? Nobody, man. Nobody's overseeing any of these wannabe governing bodies.
They own the belts. They own, you know what I mean? They promote it. They own the belts. And on top of it all, I mean, like I said, the Ali Act, and, there's so many things going against them right now. You'd think a feel-good story like Diego, you would think Diego versus Donald Cerrone. Honestly, I was surprised it wasn't a fight night main event. 5 rounds, basically like, make it a fun, like, oh, yeah, loser leave town. You had so much fun stuff that you could put behind this, along with his 16-year anniversary as it passes. You got the fight pass. You have tons of, ESPN slots to fill. A Diego Sanchez special leading up to his retirement. This would have been fantastic. This fight could have been enormous. You guys must think that.
Why? Yeah, absolutely. But why not even some direction of the special interest story that a man who's been in the sport for this long, at the end of his career, has reinvented himself and is keeping up with the youth in a way that he's taking less damage than his peers.
Yep.
Like, this is real. Why has that not been stated?
Yep.
Why is that not being drawn attention to, that he was a southpaw, now he can fight orthodox, and that he can switch stance in motion, he can move in a way that you can't understand exactly what's going on. This is why people are so upset. Well, that's a story, man. Look, why is nobody coming to speak to me about this training? And this is what I mean about, they keep asking Diego to put words to the training. Well, Diego can't put words to it even, man. It's not, it's beyond some of that. It's so much, it takes 20 years to do this type of thing and try to put words to it properly for someone to be able to understand what they're seeing. Otherwise, the way you learn is through your body. And it takes a long time before the brain gets it and starts to comprehend it and digest that and put it into words. Diego can just do it. And so when he's being asked how to explain the SOS stuff, yeah, it doesn't land because he doesn't know how to explain it. That's all.
I'm picking up what you're putting down. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The breathing, the moving, the hailing, the training. Down the line, what you guys do there. This is something that they could, like I said, they could have incorporated into the, the institute even. And I understand, that maybe they wouldn't because they don't see eye to eye with you, Josh. But in the end, And guys, if you guys want to get a look at the method, get over to schoolofselfawarenessworldwide.com. I mean, over there, you have the whole, you have the whole website set up, fantastic. And over on Instagram as well, guys, the School of Self-Awareness on Instagram. I mean.
And don't forget the clans only, baby.
Oh, yeah. We got OnlyFans for Diego Sanchez. And now, guys, that actual link is in his bio. So if you guys get over to Diego Nightmare Sanchez on Instagram, you'll see that link there. Obviously, like we said in the last episode, people hear OnlyFans and they think it's some kind of, sexual content, nothing like that. This is just a real life story and the real life doings of Diego Sanchez, guys. But when you go to the website, you can tell that this is something that a lot of years have been put into, and you can tell that Diego's been working so hard. And guys, if you see the pictures even on the social media, I mean, Diego, I'm not going to go out on a limb here and by much, but it looks like you're in some of the best condition you've been in since the days of 155. You know what I mean? Like back when you're taking on BJ Penn for the title and stuff. You look amazing right now. You look like you're ready to compete. You look like you're ready to go 5 rounds. I mean, do you feel that good, or is there something else that we're not seeing?
Absolutely. I put it all in. I earned it, man. The barn the barn is full of hay, and I was ready to compete at my best. You have to understand that it was my last opportunity to get in that octagon. The last time I was going to be able to feel it, and I was ready to leave it all in there and not look back and be like, oh, I didn't do this, I didn't do that. No, man, me and Joshua, we put in a 100-day camp, man. This was full dedication on his part too, man. It was not easy, but by the end, I was strong and I was prepared for anyone. And Cowboy was the fair fight, and we were ready for this. I think that they saved Cowboy, if any.
Have you heard any quotes from him?
Paying me to leave because I was ready to get in there with Cowboy.
Have you seen any quotes from him, guys?
Huh?
Has anybody heard any quotes from the Cowboy on this? I mean, do you think he knew this fight was going to get pulled? I mean, he is a UFC guy, but I mean, through and through.
We speculate that he possibly knew that the UFC was going to try and attempt to cancel the fight under any circumstances because Cowboy was out acting a fool during training camp, not training. I mean, just dipping and drinking Budweiser and doing races and hunting turkeys and doing this and doing that, killing buffaloes and selling them. I've been doing a lot of work.
But my school of self-training methods are very unorthodox. Right? Because nobody's talking shit about, I don't know if shooting guns is really good for training. I don't know if riding a fucking bike is what you do in the octagon. Yeah. I don't know if sitting down and riding vehicles and you see now what I'm getting at here, vibration. Like what good is this? Well, all it shows us is either you're not taking Diego that serious, and why wouldn't you when we're putting it out like we're out there a little bit, we're doing stuff, and I've been quiet. So, we hadn't made any posts for a long time.
Yeah.
Been put out,
Yep.
And that's one of the reasons why once that guy Eden Rose came and filmed and saw this training, which we're going to show you them filming us, and I'm going to put it out there because nobody believes the level of this ridiculousness. And after you see that footage, I guarantee you by the time the UFC saw that and the interviews, they didn't have 10 seconds, 20 seconds that they could air that was good for them.
Yeah. And
in any capacity.
One of the other things I wanted to touch on is that, I seen the videos too, but this started right when you got back from Fight Island. You guys were with Stephan Bonner. You get left at the airport. They miss the charter. They stuff you guys into an Uber after, 2 hours afterwards in the middle of a pandemic. That's your ride back from the airport. It just seems like they had an axe to grind since, right before Fight Island. I mean, Diego, my question to you, do you feel like they had an axe to grind with you or maybe with you through, with Josh through you? Do you think that there's some, or do you just think, is this just I don't know, maybe a bunch of unfortunate circumstances? I don't know. I'm having trouble putting my finger on this here.
I just know that the deal with UFC was over and done way before me and Josh started posting anything. And so that's a for sure thing. So for people out there who are thinking, oh, his coach posted that video, they must have pissed off Dana White, and that's why Diego got cut. Fuck that guy. He's a shitty. Well, Diego got to get rid of that guy, because that's what I'm getting a lot of. And so that didn't happen. As far as what's been going on with the UFC, I don't know, but I think it's pretty easy to see big ass Stefan, me, and Josh, and not leave without us. I'm sure that everybody was tired from the 14-hour flight.
Yep.
I'm sure everybody wanted to get off the plane and get back to the hotel, take a nice shower. But, you think they would have done a roll call.
Yeah. Well, it's tough to miss. It's tough to miss Stephen Bonner too. I mean, right? The man's a freaking monster.
After we, walked past Matt Serra, I mean, they know we're on here, man.
Yep.
Stephen was talking to him. They were sitting together in first class, right next to Matt Serra. So how the fuck do you have employees and Matt Serra and all these people on the bus? Who told them, let's go? Who pressed that, do you think? Because that's interesting moment to overlook that. Now, on top of it, as the fighters are trying to get to the dispensary, when we show up, the Uber is there to pick up UFC fighters to go to the thing, and they're like looking at us like, oh, what? And then I'm like, no, we just got here.
Yeah.
Like, wake up, kids. This is how they treat Diego.
That's unfortunate. And you know what? The funny thing is, when the younger guys are sitting there and they see Diego Sanchez and Stephen Bonner popping out of an Uber, and they look at it, and I'm surprised none of them thought to themselves, maybe this is what might be in store for me. And maybe, Josh, and I say this, and I mean absolutely no disrespect, maybe with this issue that Dana has with you, maybe he was trying to prove a point, like, oh yeah, I don't want you guys signing with this guy. I don't know. I mean, do you think that might have a little something to do with it, or he doesn't want your school of self-awareness getting any positive light shined on it? I mean, you think that that's something that could be in the cards?
Yeah. I mean, I think the second more than the first.
Yep.
But the reality is he doesn't know me. They've seen tons of footage of me and seen me at the PI. Listen, everybody's saying all these problems. We must have been to the PI 3 times before all the real articles and drama and stuff ever happened. And there was no issue with all the UFC employees or any of that when we were giving them Diego Sanchez shirts and CBD joints.
Yep.
Nobody was complaining then. Do you see now what I'm getting at here? And again, why are you smiling in my face and trying to fuck me behind my back with these side outlets that are in your fucking pocket that, again, live off of your made-up content? So the reality is it's not a sport, because if it's a sport, we would be able to see the lineup of competition, and you're not showing it to us. You're making it up as you go. Sean Shelby explains to us that all of this is planned 2 years in advance, and Diego can't get a real fight because he can fuck up the value of that guy, and then how is that guy supposed to be around? Do you see now what happened here?
Yep.
And all of a sudden he's stuck in this situation, right? Like this becomes the stupid arguments with me instead of just some logic. And when I tried to shoot him straight and say, hey, these are the best options, these fights for the retirement. These are the big names. And with Maya, we could have done a double retirement fight. Yeah. And it would have been the fight for both of us. But see, they don't want somebody to have a safer fight.
Yeah.
Do you see now what I'm getting at here?
Absolutely.
And when I'm here being told like I'm not protecting Diego, I think I've done my job more than most of any of these other people in the industry. Are we joking right now? Look at what Diego's been through in his past, and nobody protected him. Nobody said anything. And there's tons of these other guys. Nobody's saying anything. And now that they painted the picture that I'm some jerk and bad guy, like, of course, man, like nobody's trying to hear anything I'm really saying, because they can't hear it clearly now, right? You poison the well. And that was done in 2 years with media sources of $1 billion industry. And it's just me and Diego, and we're making this much noise and this much of a problem. And trust me, man, it takes a lot more money to combat us than just to play fair with us. Why didn't you just shoot us straight, man? And we would have just been cool. We all could have made some money together, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And here's a question for Diego. Diego, when they did tell you that this fight was off, they basically paid you to go away. Did they tell you that there was any chance whatsoever that you would get another fight at a later time? Or did they basically just say, listen, I know this was your retirement fight, we're going to pay you for it? I mean, this is it. I mean, did they leave any kind of glimmer of hope that you were potentially going to get more fights down the line if you so chose, or no?
No, absolutely not. The letter was not from Dana. The letter was signed and sent by Hunter, and it was a release paper. So it's like, we're paying you this money, but you're released. This is it. We don't want you. We don't want you anymore. We don't want you in this company no more. Like, not even a goodbye. Not no gold watch. Nothing.
And, you know, like I spoke with you guys, I just mentioned it right before. Ken Shamrock was on the show a couple of weeks ago, starting up his own promotion. Obviously, Bellator always looking for big names, you know, some especially. There are a lot of places right now where Diego Sanchez can go ahead. And I know that none of this really is on your mind right now. But, I mean, it's fair to say, even if just the OnlyFans and, you know, all your work with the School of Self-Awareness, I mean, the people haven't seen the last of the nightmare. Is that correct?
Absolutely not. Just getting started. A new chapter, and it's going to be a good chapter, because the way I feel is I'm coming into this chapter off a win, off the biggest and best win of my career. I feel like my retirement fight was scheduled with Donald Cowboy Cerrone, but it ended up being with the UFC organization. And I have nothing to gain but the truth being told. You know, that's all. I after doing this whole 16-year legendary, like you said, career, I just want to speak my truth, to give a different opinion than all these other legendary fighters that are speaking on all the positive things that they achieved and accomplished while being a UFC fighter star. I want to give the other side to the story, that is a darker side, that is a truthful, sadder side that no one is proud of, and that people with a strong ego, they don't allow the world to ever see their sad truth and their pain, their depression, their anxiety, their suicidal thoughts, and it goes on and on. But I'm here to speak the truth on MMA, and especially UFC, because with the manipulation and the strings that are pulled from the outside, you know, you're never getting a clear vision of what's really going on in this organization. And things are manipulated with the internet and with by any means necessary, and in the initial planning of everything. It all starts with the plan, and that means this guy's going to win, this guy's going to lose. Let's get this guy out of here. Let's let this guy prosper. You know, before the fight happened, they're put on the table, and you know, you got Dana, the Wizard of Oz, and Sean and Hunter pulling strings, and now I'm just happy to be, you know, a little Pinocchio that got out.
Yeah. Here's a question for you, Diego, and I know that you guys, your time is very valuable, and sincerely, I appreciate you guys coming on the show here. That's why this episode of the Happy Hour came commercial free, ladies and gentlemen. Just so I wanted to go ahead and say that because, truthfully, we're being brought to you today by the School of Self-Awareness, guys. Make sure you get over there because I'll tell you what, these guys, they mean business and they are having a good time over there training. I know right now it doesn't seem like everything's fantastic because, Diego's sad about his retirement fight. But I do have a question for you, Diego, and this may be far-fetched, but do you think that we're ever going to see a Diego Sanchez book being written where we can hear some of these back behind the scenes thing and the UFC issues and, just basically your outlook on the industry as well as, your life story basically growing up in the UFC for the last 16 plus years?
Yeah, a plan for a book, that is something I've thought about. I've been talked to other people about doing this, but right now we're just going to work on the doc. We got to get the doc out first, and it involves a lot of editing. That involves a lot of planning. We did it. We got the footage, and we got to. Right now, we're still in the process, man. The live update is happening. It's happening, but the truth is, we're out of the UFC. We're moving on and moving forward. And we're gonna still be in the combat sports world, and just where and how and who, and it all determines on what's right. And that's what we want to do, because me and Josh and School of Self-Awareness, we're all about doing what's right, and that's all my trainer and manager has ever done, and is just do me right and not let me get taken advantage of, as all these fighters in the MMA community and organizations, they're all getting taken advantage of, whether it's by their manager, whether it's by their friends, their coaches. Just there's a lot of dirtiness in this sport of MMA that's not really seen so much, and you get busy as a fighter, as I got busy as a fighter, and you get so stuck on your lifestyle as a UFC fighter that you don't really see everything that's going on around you. It takes someone with clear eyes to see what's going on that doesn't want something from you. And most of the time, the people around you, they do want something from you. And even if it's just to feel cool on your Instagram or walk into a restaurant with you and feel like they're like they made it with you.
Yeah.
But the truth of things is, we're here and we ain't going anywhere. So stay tuned, and the story continues.
Absolutely. I honestly, that was very well put, Diego. And honestly, I appreciate you saying it like that. And the truth is a lot of people, even in life, whether UFC fighter, a lot of people get taken advantage of. They don't know it. So it is always good when you have people that care about you around you with their eyes peeled, going ahead and taking a peek and making sure that, people that act like they have things in their best interest actually really are there for your best interest, and not, a little something on their own plate, for them to go ahead and eat off of. I mean, it's accurate, and honestly, Diego, I'm happy for you. And it seems now that with your UFC release and with your technically retirement, hitting right now. I mean, first thing I seen on social media yesterday was you went and got yourself a nice big ice cream. Forget about making weight. Honestly, I hope you take a little bit of time to absolutely enjoy yourself. And like you said, the wind blows. There's nothing that says now, because you're retired from the UFC and you have your full unconditional release. There's nothing that says if you want to be just like a WWE wrestler and dust off the gloves and go ahead and have yourself a little, tussle, or take a grappling, engagement, whatever you like, whatever way the wind blows. I mean, you guys are open to do whatever you want. And that sounds like kind of the way, the School of Self-Awareness and Diego Sanchez has always been. I mean, you got to agree with me on that, right? What better place to be in? You're actually in the driver's seat.
Well, and on that note, Diego's actually May 29th in Maryland. He's got an exhibition match. Go ahead, tell him.
Oh,
Yeah. we got Nick Jones going on. We got Nick Jones got a grappling exhibition match with a young man. He's 16 years old, but he's a stud. He's really good, and we're gonna do an exhibition match after the seminar, and gonna go visit Maryland. So we're doing this.
See, after the UFC and being a nightmare, Diego can now be a part of other people's dreams.
That's well put. Guys, honestly, I want to go ahead right now, and I know that when the music starts to hit, it's time for one of my very favorite segments. It's Last Call. Ladies and gentlemen, Last Call is always brought to you by Clearwater Distillery. Clearwater Distillery out of Utah. Ladies and gentlemen, they're worldwide now. London, gold medal. The World Series of Liquor in San Francisco, gold medal. Lorenz is taking over the world, guys. Make sure you get over to clearwaterdistillery.com. Use promo code KINGHAP. Save yourself 10% off anything over $100. Guys, I mean, I can't thank you enough. I want to start off Last Call just by saying I can't thank both of you enough for coming on the show. I know that you guys have had a whirlwind of emotion and things going on right now. I mean, I'll start with you, Josh. I just want to thank you for going ahead, looking out for our man Diego, and obviously for yourself as well, and also all the members of the Happy Hour Social Club. You know that everybody here really appreciates you and appreciates what you guys are doing. I mean, you got anything left for the Happy Hour Social Club members, and where can they find you if they want to follow you on social media, etc.?
Yeah, of course, it's School of Self-Awareness on IG, School of Self-Awareness worldwide.com, and of course, OnlyFans, Diego Sanchez. And we appreciate your time, your energy, and understand that the truth only hurts if you're living a lie.
Boom. Diego, my man.
On top of that, King,
yeah.
I just want to say big, huge shout out to one of the cool and wonderful sponsors of this training camp. I'm sorry the fight didn't happen, but Hytiva Cannabis on Demand Technologies, they have been behind me, and I just want to say thank you to Stefan, thank you to Tom, and thank you to Hytiva and the entire team.
Absolutely, and I will make sure that I'll get that link from Josh. I'll have that in the show notes, and also we'll make sure we have the School of Self-Awareness in the show notes. But Diego, I mean, you got anything left? Now, you know that the Happy Hour Social Club, that everybody here, you know they love you, my man. You got anything left for them? And where can they follow you if they want to follow you on social media, big man?
Hey, it doesn't change. It does change. We're working on getting it changed from Diego Nightmare Sanchez UFC to Diego Nightmare Sanchez.
We'll make sure we pass that along.
We're working on it. So if you want to follow, it's still Diego Nightmare Sanchez UFC. And we're going to work on that. We're getting that UFC off the end of the name.
I mean, he's free, guys. I mean, truthfully, in retirement, he's enjoying himself. He's going to be training. He's going to be helping out a lot of younger guys. Everybody knows that Diego Nightmare Sanchez has been an absolute gentleman in the industry. We appreciate your time, guys. I mean, truth be told, anytime you have anything for the Happy Hour Social Club members, you feel free. You hit me up. You're always welcome on the show and always welcome on our social media feeds. Guys, one last time from everybody here at the Happy Hour Social Club, thank you guys for coming on and thank you for your time. We really appreciate it.
Thank you, King.
All right, what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave you guys with a little bit of, I mean, everybody knows that I love it. We're going to leave you guys with a little bit of Abyss version 2. It's the Happy Hour, ladies and gentlemen. We'll honestly, we will see you next week. This was breaking news. A little bonus episode never hurt nobody, and a visit from the nightmare only hurts you when you're sleeping. So, ladies and gentlemen, it's the Happy Hour. It's Abyss version 2. Good night.
Yeah. Abyss, happy hour, AbyssHipHop.com. Hey, sports fanatics applauding at the matches, picking winners while we sift through the brackets. Yeah, turf green like a bag of sour. We're gonna talk of that podcast is the Happy Hour. Better come to the game fully geared. Who would dare? Been beast mode since the rookie years. Yeah, little fact for the lightning round. This is Title Town, the place where all of the fire's found. We attend games on a regular. Heard more goals than a motivation seminar. Yeah, stay charged like a visa. So many bad calls balls, no, we stopping by the Los Bleachers. So, click play and just soak it up. This is happy hour, but not the same as your local pub. Sports talk, hear the pro shows a must. Just go like the page called the Happy Hour Social Club. Boss move, so you know your boy paid them dues. Front row, you can see us through your pay-per-view. Fights on, watching them box like big parcels of MMA. Know that the artist mixed martial. Listen, guests, you better play your best. You playing vets, better go take a breath and just play the bench. Clap hard with these two hands. We've been true fans, reading stats off the newsstand.